Clause in the Nigerian Senate's version of the Petroleum Industry Bill is throwing the free market provisions of the downstream sector into question. The upper chamber has provided that petroleum products can only be imported by refinery owners in Nigeria. This is, of course, in Section 317, subsection 8, which contradicts another section, 205, whose language removes price controls on petroleum products in the downstream sector. Joining us to discuss these very pressing stories is our Rise business analyst, Chika Mbondo. Chika, you're very welcome.
Oh, God.
I've hit you with the hard stories on Monday. Very welcome, sir. Starting with the Senate and this clause in the PIB, what do you make of?
Yes. Sometimes you wonder whether this oil since 1956 is not having a cost for Nigeria. Because each time it comes up, it's always, it triggers up so many different types of emotions for different types of people. Because of the contending, interests, and most of them monetary. Not in the interest of the nation, but usually for private, pocket. Now, the Act says that for you to be able to import fuel into Nigeria, petrol this time, or the other PMS diesel or MP, the kerosene, you must have a refinery, And again, everybody's eye went to Dangote hand inside.
That's the largest capacity.
Inside this issue. Because as of now, we know that the only institution that imports fuel into Nigeria is NNPC.
Right.
Through this, what they call this direct sale of crude, direct purchase of petroleum products into Nigeria, which is like, a fertile ground for so many institutions because they make a lot of money from it. We know what has happened in the past in that. There are too many arguments in that respect. I can tell you one thing. So many licenses have been pushed out for refineries. Now, if the licenses, at the time, a lot of people went for those licenses because they thought there were some benefits in getting those licenses. And they were not intending to actually make investment in the refineries.
Right.
So they didn't take the investment in refineries very seriously. Now, if those groups had taken this, seriously, of investing in refineries, these arguments, issues that have risen now will not be here.
Right.
Because licenses have been actually given out for people to do refineries. So it's not as if, only Dangote was given license to do refinery. Right. A lot of institutions have been given license to do refineries. And I'm aware also that there are some refineries in play that are, apart from Dangote refinery, there's a BOA also in play. There's even Watersmith also, I know. So it's not as if one group will benefit from that.
Right.
But also, the other thing that you need to know is that in the last almost 2 or 3 years now, it's only NNPC
has been
importing PMS into Nigeria.
Right.
So it's not as if there have been a free reign of people who have been importing the products into Nigeria, and suddenly, when this thing comes now, their business will be denied. The nearest people that have been doing it is through the direct sale, direct purchase initiative.
Right.
Because a lot of them didn't have the FX initiative. Now, but that if we have refineries in Nigeria, what do? They bring investments into our country. Employment into our country. And the issues that the Labour have been complaining about, the transferred cost of imported pricing, products into Nigeria, will exit because we have the crude to process these products in Nigeria. And therefore, the landed price of the PMS will be more manageable. So, look at it this way. I have a feeling that, remember this PIB is how many years in coming? And there's a Senate version of it. And everybody is contending now to make sure that the final PIB, favors them.
Right.
So I will just suspend my further commentaries on this until we see the final PIB. But what we do in this program? We think of what's the best for
the country.
The country.
Yes.
The two situations which is best for our country.
Right.
That's what's going to decide what we're going to decide. Yes.
Fair enough. Thank you, Chika. The PSB guidelines.
The big picture here is this, that it's known that the depth of financial inclusion in every economy is proportional to the economic development in that economy. Central Bank of Nigeria, realizing that, has been working on deepening the financial inclusion in Nigeria.
Yes.
And so there was a financial inclusion objective which said in 2020, the financial exclusion, that is the Nigerians that will not have a banking, have access to banking facilities,
yes,
should not be more than 20%. So Nigerians that have banking access should be more than 80%. The financial included 80%. Now that was 2020, and the CBN pushed out so many initiatives: microfinance banking, agent banking, tiered procedures for opening accounts, mobile money, and so many initiatives to make sure that the financial inclusion is increased.
Yes.
And but what happened is that, despite all those, the financial inclusion just moved in needle point. You know, it didn't get better. 2020 has passed.
Yes.
That objective didn't achieve.
Right.
At best, about 50% of Nigerians are financially included. And so CBN has thought that, how do we continue to expand the initiative of financial inclusion? And that's how the PSBs came into play.
Yes.
Basically, payment service banks initiative, using technology.
Yes.
You know, to the PSBs are like the stripped down version,
right,
of the deposit money banks that you and me know.
Right.
Now, what has happened now is this, as I push to the end, is this. Remember that one of the initiatives the Central Bank has used to push financial inclusion has been microfinance banks.
Yes.
And for example, in December 2020, 42 microfinance banks were shut down by Central Bank.
Right.
And what's happened now is that Central Bank has analyzed why the initiatives in financial inclusion, especially microfinance banks, have not succeeded so far. And so in crafting the PSB initiatives and policies, they have made sure they addressed all those.
Right.
One of the things has been poor corporate governance initiatives in the microfinance banks. So in crafting the issues of PSBs, they make sure that they're worried about the high corporate governance and high risk management policies for them. The other thing also is that they also noticed that in the microfinance banks, they collected deposits. With a lot of them, instead of doing the work they're supposed to do, started giving loans, entering into real estate, and so many other things, buying FX, and the things that made them lose the deposits which they collected. And so, when the depositors came for their money, the money was not there. And you found that CBN had no choice but to liquidate these microfinance banks.
Right.
So in crafting the initiatives or the policies on procedures of these PSBs, CBN has put that into play. And that's why you had all those, they can do this, they can do that.
Right.
They can do this, they can collect deposits, they can give loans. They can have agents issue cards, but they can't give out loans.
Right.
And so on and so forth. And that's basically what has happened. All towards making sure that they go to the hinterland, the unbanked rural areas, to make sure that the deeper penetration of the banking services for the country.
Fantastic stuff. Arise business analyst Chika Bonachina, thank you so much for taking us through those headlines. Appreciate your insights.
Thank you.
Always giving you the tough stuff. You're watching the Global Business Report here on Arise News.